Let's discuss all of this now. Crossing live to a member of the Finnish Freedom Alliance Party and former candidate for the European Parliament. There is Armando Meima now joining us here live on RT International. Armando, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Very good morning to all of you.
A very good morning indeed. I wanted to ask you, zeroing in on what Roman Kozyrev, our correspondent, was just detailing. For example, we know that ever since Ukraine's failed spring or summer offensive of 2023, the front line's been collapsing in favor of the Russian side. And yet here, in the past few days, acts of terror being carried out. Civilians targeted in the Kherson region. A cafe and a hotel were targeted. Many civilians were killed. Putin's private residency in Novgorod targeted as well about 36 hours before the Kherson attacks. And yet we have no comment, Armando, from European leaders about this. Why do you think they're seemingly so reluctant to comment?
Yes, I would add that also the United Nations is still hesitating to condemn the terrible attack against civilians in Kherson. I expect the United Nations to condemn the attack, and also the EU leaders. They must absolutely condemn these terrible attacks against civilians that they are basically defenseless, and they don't have any means to protect themselves from such attacks. And nothing, let me add that nothing justify this sort of terror against civilians. And you know, in the past, the cities were built to confine a border between the jungle and the civilization. And this deliberate attack against civilians in the middle of the city, it seems that there are no rule anymore, that we live in a sort of jungle. And this is very, very dangerous. The EU leaders, they are going to meet on 6th of January with Zelensky. I really expect them to condemn this attack. And second, the strategy. What is the strategy of Zelensky? I've been meditating it for a while now. And Zelensky knows very well that he cannot win this conflict. And each time he comes out with new sort of provocations to drag NATO into the conflict. And secondly, Zelensky is not making any concession. And they're going tomorrow to meet for a meeting of so-called peace in Ukraine, where they're going to discuss future peace negotiation. But it's really difficult at this point to be realistic how possibly Russia could continue the negotiations at this point where...
Well, I think it's a fair comment, Armando. I think it's a great comment, frankly. I mean, how is Putin supposed to trust the mediators and the so-called peacemakers when clearly there shouldn't be any trust? I mean, look, we've just had this assassination attempt on the Russian president at his private residence in Novgorod. Reportedly 91 drones with very explosive warheads were sent to target the Russian president. And now a French media outlet, Armando, it says that the attack on Putin's residence, with this attack, Kiev endangers the future of Europe and is playing a game of Russian roulette, putting the peace talks on the line. Your thoughts, Armando?
Absolutely. Can you imagine if this sort of attacks was carried out against the president of the United States? I think it seems that the West lives in a bubble of illusion, and they don't understand how dangerous these kind of actions are against the head of state of Russia. They should take a very strong position here, because if they don't do, I fear that Russia may lose patience, and rightly so. They may take a very, very harsh response to that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment as well. To wrap up our conversation with Armando Meima, a member of the Finnish Freedom Alliance Party and former candidate for the European Parliament. Armando, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.